adolescence, I had to stress that never being less than being excellent is the motto I follow. For throttle, I gotta be some sort of testament. If I strive to do it, be the best at it. So testing this is rather pointless.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries, and today we're going to talk about Alberto El Patron, aka Alberto Del Rio, and the charges against him being dropped. And that's not enough for the court of public opinion. So here's a story from PW Insider. Just days before Alberto Del Rio criminal trial was slated to finally commence, court records were updated this afternoon to reflect the case was closed today after a hearing. The court records reflect the earlier today being December the 10th, 2021, there was a missing witness and that the charges have been dropped. Del Rio's bond has also been returned. The case is officially closed and he is free and clear going forward from all criminal liabilities in regard to this case. They used his real name, Chiquan, I think, 44, was arrested on May 9th, 2020, after a victim went to San Antonio, Texas authorities, stating that on Sunday, May the 3rd, at 10 p.m., Chiquan allegedly became angry with her and physically assaulted her, accusing her of infidelity. When the victim would not admit to the infidelity, Chiquan allegedly slapped her, quote, across the head several times. The victim also alleged that Chiquan, quote, forced her to wear a dress and dance for him, and that when she refused and he told her not to start crying because of it, quote, he would take her son and drop him in the middle of the road somewhere. The arrest affidavit stated that the woman alleged Chiquan had sexually assaulted her and that she had her injuries documented via photographs. At the time, the Fox affiliate in San Antonio reported, quote, police said Rodriguez Chiquan then tied the woman's hands with boxing straps, put a sock in her mouth, and sexually assaulted her for several hours using various objects. According to the investigators, he also punched her in the back of the head, punched her in the back during the assault, causing visible injuries. The victim told detectives she does not remember how much he placed his hand around her throat. TMZ later reported additional details that brought the accusations into a much more disturbing light, stating that the victim reported the attack started around 10 p.m. on May the 3rd, 2020, and that it lasted over 16 hours, ending on May the 4th, 2020, on 2:30 p.m. The victim went to the police the same day, with TMZ reporting noting the responding officer saw bruises on her face, arms, legs, and neck. The victim alleged that Chiquan attempted to burn her passport and smashed her laptop, computer, and cell phone. TMZ reported that the victim, quote, also claims Del Rio attacked her, causing multiple injuries and left her, quote, feeling woozy and dizzy from the hits to her head, end quote. The victim told the police she was afraid and intended to leave San Antonio as soon as possible. It should be noted that several months ago, a woman issued an apology via social media for what Chiquan's family has been going through since the arrest. Chiquan's brother responded, claiming on his own social media that it was an admission that the charges were false. Chiquan has stated publicly that the woman who made the allegations against him has dropped her claims and that he expects the situation to be wrapped up as soon as possible. As of today, the charges were dropped. Okay, so he's been saying, he being Alberto, has been saying that the charges are going to be dropped. He's been saying that for several months now. Apparently, he knows something that nobody else knew. Now, in a situation like this, it's clear that in the American legal system, it is guilty until proven, well, it's guilty until proven innocent in the court of public opinion, but it's the other way around in the actual legal system. It's innocent until proven guilty. This situation has so many layers that it's got to be, if there was any type of evidence to be had, they could prosecute. Now, I don't know Texas law. Maybe you got to have a complaining witness, but I would think after they did the investigation, they should have been able to find tons of evidence of abuse. In terms of, again, they say the detectives or the police saw bruising on the victim, on her face, arms, legs, and neck. So that should have been enough, at least for a probable cause in order to continue the case. I know in some places when it's violence of this kind of nature, you don't need a complaining witness. Even if they back out, the state can continue with the prosecution. Maybe Texas is not one of those states. I don't know. I know a lot of people have proclaimed that the lady was scared and therefore she ran away because she was scared. There have been people who have said that Alberto Del Rio have paid off the judges because it's apparently in Mexico. Here's my thing. You can't say that the system only works when you get the response that you want. And then you say the system doesn't work when you don't get the response that you want. In this situation, we know that there are people who are far more powerful than Del Rio, and they still had witnesses speaking against them. You could say he's rich. He's from a rich family. That's true. But when you got mob bosses and people are flipping on these mob bosses, it's kind of hard to make the argument that, the average Joe pro wrestler from a rich family scares you. It's like if they really wanted you to be safe, the state could protect you. They could send you anywhere on the planet Earth as long as you, arrested this guy, if that's what you really wanted to do. Witness protection is a real thing. It's not just something on Law and Order. If you really wanted protection, the state could provide that. So if she really wanted to get away, the state could provide that. They could have hid her somewhere she never would have been found. It could have been like a Henry Hill situation. So we have to take into account that some of this stuff might have been exaggerated. Some of it might be real. Some of it might be exaggerated. None of it could be real. All of it could be true. We don't know. But this is a very interesting story in so much that he's been saying for about 6 months now that he expects the case to be dropped and for this whole thing to be over. And now it finally is. And he seems pretty happy. So he went on Twitter and he started tweeting some stuff. And let's read some of his tweets, old Alberto. Let's see what we got here. All right, so I'm looking at the tweets, and it seems like it's his PR team has put out something and that he hasn't actually made any comments. But he's been saying for a long time now that this whole thing was going to be dropped and he expected it to be over with. So he's got to find a way to go on with his life. No wrestling company is going to touch this guy. Even if he got away with this, it's just not likely that any major wrestling promotion is going to put any kind of money into this dude with all the other things that they got going on with him. So his career essentially in the United States, it should be over. Now, I'm not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that's what it is. The likelihood of WWE is not going to touch him with a 10-foot pole. Not even with a 30-foot pole. AEW likely wouldn't either. There's just no way. He's radioactive for those two. Now for Impact with Fail Gale there, probably not. NWA? Who knows, man? I'm sure he's going to pop up in the United States somewhere. But I don't expect it to be any major promotions. I think most major promotions are going to be like, even if this stuff wasn't true, he's got so much baggage that they don't want anything to do with him. But I'm on a tip where innocent until proven guilty. They didn't prove him guilty. If the girl went back on her case, that's just too bad. Alberto is a free man. And, she should feel bad for herself. And she should feel terrible if what happened to her is true. And she decided not to press charges. She should feel awful. And we, as the public, should definitely hold her accountable if if what happened to her is true and she decided not to press charges. I don't care how scared you are. You have to think about the next person too. You know, if he goes out here and he does this to, like, Paige claims that, oh, he beat me up. You never had him arrested. Like, you are also responsible for getting criminals off the street. You know, if you were victimized by somebody, you're responsible for getting them off the street. You know, if he's a violent moron, you are responsible for getting him off the street one way or the other. I'll put it in those terms. One way or the other, you are responsible for getting him off the street. You know, and every time somebody lets one of these violent idiots run, either through the lax legal system, through, you know, or something like that, you're perpetuating a problem. So I'm hoping, like I said last time, I'm always on the side of I hope it didn't happen. And I've always been outside of that one time where I read the original article and I was kind of pissed about it. I've kind of been on the, you know, I hope it didn't happen. And that's about it. But you definitely got to hold these women accountable if he's violent and they're just letting him go on and beat up other people. You know, you have to be responsible. You have to stand up and say, no more. We're not going to let him do this again. The laws are favorable to women in this situation. So there's no excuses why you wouldn't do it. Again, not just witness protection, but in these situations, you don't even need to know who the woman is. They would, if her name was still publicly available, they still wouldn't have used it in the news articles because they never use them. They never use the names of people who claim that other people beat them up. The rape shield laws protect women. So she can make accusations and run his name through the mud and protect her own name. You know, that alone helps her keep who she is a secret. You know, so there's really no excuse if you're really a domestic violence or abuse victim to let it happen to somebody else. The laws are too heavily in your favor, you know. And it's entirely possible that he did do something and he's going to get away with it. You know, it's entirely possible. But innocent until proven guilty. Alberto is a free man. He should be able to go and work. And it's up to the promoters if they believe the story or not. It is absolutely frightening that he claimed that he was going to throw a kid into traffic. You know, but again, it's up to you to believe that or not. You know, not everybody's going to believe that. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section below. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time. And I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace.